are going for a whole hour. Straight dog talk and the song. Jump on in and speculate. Show up on time, don't be weak and late. We are community, so don't hate. And learn to cooperate. Yeah, hit that like button and do your thing. 5 membership will get you in. So let's talk dogs and don't waste no time. Monday 7 p.m. Don't come doing the HATE. Otherwise Hollywood will give you the BYE. Here we go, kill the whistle. Oh yeah, we are going for a whole hour. Straight dog talk and a song. Jump on in and speculate. Show up on time, don't be weak and late. We are community, so don't hate. And learn to cooperate. Hit that like button and do your thing. 5 membership will get you in. So let's talk dog and don't waste no time. Monday 7 p.m. Don't come doing the HATE. Otherwise Hollywood will give you the BYE.
The BYE. What is going on, family? Tonight we're going to be talking about what's the best dog food, right? That's the one question that every dog owner has that contacts me. And for one reason or another, they either don't have the time to research it, or sometimes they get confused because, let's face it, it can be a little bit confusing. Sometimes it could even be overwhelming. But tonight, we're going to deep dive into it. I'm going to tell you guys already because I already know. Oh, what about XYZ bag? Just hear me out. Tonight, we're going to go into ingredients. I'm going to tell you what ingredients do what. I'm going to show you where I got the information from, right? So I'm going to cite my sources, which is they're all going to be university-based, university studies. Then I'm going to give you 3 brands that for sure carry these ingredients. Now, there may be more, but I'm going to give you 3. Now, in order to be able to do that, tonight I'm going to bring in my dude, Michael Higginson. What's up, Money Mike?
What's going on, fam?
Hey, man, are you ready for tonight, bro? Because this is the one subject they all hitting up. They all want to know what's the best dog food. Oh, we're going to talk about what's the best dog food tonight, bro.
I'm ready. I'm excited about it. Hey, this is one to dive into for sure.
Yeah. Also, my dude in the back, Holly Wizard, he's over here checking us out. Nothing much, bro. We're going to get this rolling here real quick. Let me just say what's up, Infamous saying best dog food raw. He already knows. Carmelo and Chica, happy Monday. What's going on? We got Florican, Florida, Puerto Rican, raw.
I love it.
Infamous. Oh, I see the kibble. I use the background. Not excited about that. All right. Dracula says hello, everyone. Brayman Bull Bullies. What's up, man? Hope y'all having a good one. For sure, brother. For sure. Florican says, if I'm low on raw, I feed value pack black bag. Okay. All right. Thanks for the 2 cents. Delvin Baker. Hello, everyone. In Sarata. Good evening, everybody. In Sarata, man. Adam Fields. He should be coming in any minute now. But, yeah, Leon Gonzalez saying, what's up? What's going on, Leon? Life of Miklo was good, Mike in Hollywood. You got it, man. Hey, we got D. Taylor, too. What's up, guys? Fun topic. Laugh out loud. Perina for the win. Just kidding.
I think Adam was on here. I think he was.
Either him or Frady Stevia. Any minute now.
They're on here. Yeah.
It's automatic. Billy Watton raw or whatever works best for your dog without side effects. Well, look, man, let's not delay this too long. And let me jump in right off the rip. And the first ingredient that we're going to be bringing up is going to be none other than carrageenan. Can you say that, Mike? Carrageenan?
Carrageenan. That's a mouthful, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure is, bro. It sure is.
Especially if you're reading it off the paper, the way it's spelled.
Yeah, well, yeah, the spelling is kind of crazy. I remember doing a video on this about, I want to say either 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. you usually find carrageenan, right, mostly in wet dog food. You don't find it in kibble. Okay, carrageenan. Okay.
Right.
The bad thing about carrageenan, now I'm going to go ahead and bring this up and show everybody. Mike, I don't know if you're going to drop off. I was kind of messing around. So if you do, I'll bring you right back in. I just want to show people what it is. Okay, no, you're there. All right, great.
Yeah, that went right.
Yeah, carrageenan is a family of linear sulfated polysaccharides extracted from red seaweed. Okay, that's what that is, right? That's what the main thing is. However, yeah, you see, I was trying to set it up, and this thing now does that. So now, carrageenan. Let me just give you guys this information. It has been proven to harm because it induces gastrointestinal inflammation and may promote tumor growth through chronic irritation of the gut lining. So this thing, what it does is it'll inflame the dog's gut, and it will inflame it to a point where it could even cause tumor formation within the gut. Okay, carrageenan. For those of you that are catching us on the rewatch, make sure to have your captions on. It's one of those things that you do not want to be feeding. So if you're feeding canned dog food, make sure carrageenan is not one of the ingredients up in there. Otherwise, you know, you're pretty much feeding something that may cause cancer. Now, there's 3 brands. All right. 3 brands that are carrying this in their wet dog food. You want to take a guess, Mike, at any one of the 3?
I'm going to say Purina for one of them.
Okay. Purina may very well be one of them, but the 3 I know for a fact have it are Blue Buffalo Wilderness, Wellness Core, and Merrick Grain Free. These are the ones that have it. Where am I referencing this? I'm referencing this through Tufts University study on carrageenan in pet diets, right? For those of you that don't know, Tufts University is a research university. That's all they do is research the crap out of things. And they're located in Massachusetts. So let me see if I can bring up the study so you can see what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's coming right up. And yeah, here you go.
While you're finding that, I think it's you know, we've said it on here a lot, but just in case anybody hasn't heard it, you cannot go by the price tag of the dog food. I know when you said Blue Buffalo, it broke a lot of hearts because people go, I spend good money on that kibble and I've been using it for years and you know, and probably a couple of the other ones too. But you know, at the end of it, man, it doesn't matter how reputable it is, how nationwide it is, how many people talk about it. It has nothing to do with that. It comes down to the ingredients, and the ingredients don't lie.
Yeah, look what this is saying. Carrageenan, a common ingredient in wet pet foods, functioning as a gelling, thickening, and stabilizing agent. Research findings, some studies, including a review published in Environmental Health Perspectives, have linked carrageenan to intestinal inflammation, ulcerations, and a potential risk for cancer in animals and humans, including potentially dogs and cats. One review suggests that the use of carrageenan in pet foods should be reconsidered due to the acknowledged carcinogenic properties of degraded carrageenan in animal models and the cancer-promoting effects of undegraded carrageenan in experimental models. However, other research has suggested that food-grade carrageenan may not be as harmful as degraded forms. Now, here's where I always say when you do a study, regardless what the study says, carrageenan is bad, there's always going to be a counter. You know, you're going to have to make a decision on your own on the counter study. A lot of times you need to find out who did this counter study right here that says it doesn't affect. And more times than not, you're going to find that it was a dog food company who has the money to make a research that could counter that argument. So this is why a lot of people get confused, because over here is saying it's bad is bad, and then over here says it's okay. And in reality, no, it's not okay. What's happening is you need to understand what's happening, right? You need to understand that, there isn't much research into dogs and in dog foods, right? Unless the fit hits the shan like Carrageenan just did. And all these dog food manufacturers now are stuck with, oh man, we need to counter that argument. Otherwise, people are going to get wind of this and not buy the product. That's how that works. All right. Infamous says, I realize at least the ones my island has wet food with gravy doesn't have Carrageenan. That's good stuff, man. Perfect storm. Members mark: salmon, sweet potato, honey sardines, dehydrated sweet potatoes, coconut oil, carrots, probiotic, Nuvet Plus, and NuJoint DS. There you go, man. Now listen, I recommended members mark salmon, sweet potato. That's my go-to kibble, but I'm not feeding more than 10% of that to any one of my dogs. They're all eating raw, straight up. And so I just want to make sure I make that disclaimer so that we're not, we don't take this the wrong way. That's all. We got Gyra Grimm saying good afternoon. We got Carmel and Chica. Is that Carrageenan and wellness kibble too? I did use in the past. Guys, because of time constraints, I'm going to give you 3 products that are carrying it. With that being said, if you don't have a bag of what I'm saying carries it, just go to your bag, turn it over. I mean, not bag, bottle or can or whatever. The wet dog food's coming in. Turn it over and just look and see if the ingredient is there. If you see Carrageenan, then hey, you already know what I'm talking about, right? It's really that simple. Unlimited TV. I haven't fed Victor since that recall. It made my dog sick. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Before we get kibble, does anyone else get weird looks from others at the store because you're flipping kibble bags over looking at the ingredients? I get that all the time, but I don't get the crazy looks. What I get is, hey, is there like almost inquiring, right? In a curious, non-invasive manner. Is there something that you found there that maybe I should know about? One way or another, that's where the conversation leads. And it gives me a great opportunity to educate at that point. So that's.
Tell you what, I'm gonna tell you a quick little story. I was in, I think it was Petco, and I had every single dog food off the shelf that they have, looking at every label, looking at ingredients, and I mean, by this time I've handled so many bags of dog food, I'm sweating and I'm dragging all this stuff around, and the little girl came over there and is like, "Sir, can I help you?" And I said, "Absolutely not. I'm just checking ingredients." She said, "Okay." And then next thing, about 10 minutes later and 20 bags later, here comes the manager and, "Sir, can I help you?" And I said, "No, I don't think you can. I'm just trying to get a read on what I'm feeding my dog, and I don't like what I see." And that's when we had the conversation about education and stuff. So,
wow. Yeah. You use the opportunity to educate people, man. And once you tell them what's up, immediately, a lot of them are very receptive. It's almost as if, though, it becomes daunting. It's not that they don't want to do the research. It just becomes somewhat daunting to them. And so, I understand. And that's the reason we're deep diving on this for a lot of people today. The next ingredient I'm going to tell you guys about is propylene glycol. And I'm going to go ahead and type it up. I think that's, let me type up the first one because I didn't do it for the first one. So let me just go ahead and do it. So if you guys are watching us, you're going to be able to see the name exactly. Well, not that one, exactly on the screen that we're talking about. Okay. So the first one that we spoke about is Carrageenan right here. That's what Carrageenan, that's how you spell it. Okay. Really, really important, because if you're looking for a different type of spelling, you might just totally miss it. So The next one that we're going to talk about is propylene glycol. Okay, propylene glycol. Let me show you what it looks like. It looks just like that. That's how you spell it. Propylene glycol. Okay. And what this little sucker does, propylene glycol, it leads to dehydration and red blood cell damage. Let me just explain something to you. Every time your dogs become dehydrated, there is some sort of damage to the kidneys. It might be very minuscule. Sometimes it could be acute kidney damage, right? AKD, or it could even, if your dog is borderline as far as having kidney function, it could tip it over into having a chronic kidney disease, right? So leads to dehydration and red blood cell damage. No bueno. Mimicking antifreeze toxicity and causing Heinz body formation. Did you hear what I just said? Mimicking antifreeze toxicity and causing Heinz body formation. What's crazy is, man,
Wow.
Every time I drop a video, a short or whatever, and I talk about adding garlic into whatever it is I'm giving my dog and the preparation that goes into it, what I get immediately, Mike, is, oh, garlic is toxic for dogs. Because, you know, it almost seems like it's unfortunate, but the American public has been hoodwinked, Mickey Moused, whatever you want to call it, into wanting to prove somebody so wrong because they've been hearing this lie for such a long time that they have to, in order to continue functioning, they have to prove something that's true to be a lie in order for them to be able to function. My thing is, you are so concerned about feeding garlic, but none of you have looked up propylene glycol. I'm almost certain.
Yeah, and when they compare the health risk to something that is widely known as poison for dogs,
yes,
antifreeze toxicity, that's pretty scary, man. That's pretty intense.
well, yeah. And so let me just give you guys my source here real quick. So we can all.
What kind of dog foods is this found in? Do we know?
Oh, yes. Mike, thanks for reminding me. So here are the brands that carry it. All right, here we go. Pedigree.
Let's ruffle some feathers, Raul. This is what I like. I like to put them out there. If they're putting propylene glycol in their dog food, well, it's getting known to the world right now. So how about that?
It sure is, bro. Here are the brands. First brand, Pedigree Choice Cuts. Why doesn't it not surprise me that Pedigree is doing this, right? Pedigree Choice Cuts, followed by Purina Moist and Meaty. There you go. Moist and Meaty. Purina. And lastly, this is going to get a lot of people that have them little smaller dogs, toy dogs. Caesar fillets.
Everybody that has the little dogs likes some little peel top cans of that Caesar.
Propylene glycol. There you go. Right? And let me tell you who did the study, right? Because that's definitely very important. Actually, there's two universities that actually did the study. The first one is, again, Tufts University, which is a research university, right? Center for Cellular Agriculture Research, related to development analysis of various food products, including those that might be considered semi-moist. Their work encompasses areas as cultivated meat, alternative proteins, and food processing. If you want to look it up, look up Tufts University analysis of semi-moist foods. That's where we got this information from, right? Ultra-processed food researchers at Tufts have conducted extensive analysis on ultra-processed foods, which often include semi-moist items such as ready-to-eat meals and packaged snacks. Higher consumption of these foods has been linked to increased health risks and mortality rates, right? So basically, when you go through this whole entire thing, that's where you're about to find out that, the moist dog food, and I don't know what its purpose is, if it's to conserve the food or what. Nonetheless, it can cause kidney damage, and it can definitely hurt your dog. So
it's really scary when you put it into perspective of what exactly happened. So in case people are wondering, somewhere in the food chain, somebody said, we can make this last longer on the shelf and cut a little cost if we put this in there. And guess what? People don't look at the labels, so it won't matter.
correct.
And they rode with it. And I don't know, man. Maybe it's just me, Rob, but I can't get past that.
Well, you know what's crazy, Mike, that you say that. What happens is America gets used to it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. America gets used to it. And they are taking us for a ride because America gets used to it. If we all in unison, I'm talking about the makers of these products, simply do things in this manner, they're going to get used to it. And the majority of people do. The next one up is ethoxyquin. Ethoxyquin. When was the last time you heard that? Now, that little sucker right there is linked to liver toxicity and cancer due to oxidative stress and accumulation. Yeah, hear this part. And accumulation in tissues over time. So it ain't gonna kill you right
in the tissue.
What's that?
It builds up in the tissue.
Yes, it builds up in the tissue. Ethoxyquin. It builds up in the tissue.
It sounds like a brutal compound. You know what I'm saying?
It builds up in the tissue. Not only that, it's going to damage your liver and cause cancer, right? What's crazy is the university that actually did this study and found this out is right here in good old Texas, right? Good old Texas, none other than Texas A&M University, bro, right? They conducted research related to preservatives and pet food, although a specific overarching study focused solely on preservatives wasn't highlighted in the provided search snippets. However, the university and its researchers have investigated related topics. If you want to find it, it's Texas A&M University study on preservatives in pet food. I'm not going to sit there and read the whole study because we're going to be here until next week, right? Now, we're not done. We're not done with this old ethoxyquin because, right, there are three products or three products out there that for sure have it.
Brands, yeah.
3 brands. There are definitely more, but we're only going off of these 3, right? Based on my search. Otherwise, I would have been here all day trying to figure out just one answer. So the first one is IAM's Proactive Health, right? That's the first one that has it. The next one is Pedigree Adult.
You know what? I bet that's one of the most common dog foods sold in the United States.
Of course. And this next one is going to shock you, Mike. This one's going to shock you. You want to take a shot at it?
I'm going to say Victor.
Okay, no.
No.
Purina One.
Now,
I'm not saying Victor doesn't have it. I'm just saying these are the 3 that I found it in, right? So
Purina is another top seller, you know.
Yeah.
Actually, those are 3 of the most popular brands in the United States for the longest duration of time, I bet.
And also, are
Purina and Pedigree are probably
are they not the cheaper brands too? So if you go to buy dog food and you're thinking about, oh, we're going to do this on the cheap, you're going to pay for it on the back end. I mean, it's really that simple, right? The next one I'm going to bring up, we talked about it here recently, and it's none other. Let me have it ready for you guys. It's none other than BHA BHT, right? BHA BHT. I just made a video on this. I showed you guys the bag, the whole shebang bang, but we're going to go over it just one more time for you. This one acts as a carcinogen, causing liver tumors and allergic reactions in long-term exposure studies. Okay. BHA causing acts as a carcinogen, BHT causing liver tumors and allergic reactions. Let's stop there for 1 second, man. How many times do I not get a text from somebody on a daily talking about their dog has allergies, please help? Usually, not usually, 99.9% of the time, my response is, what are you feeding? Because guess what I'm looking for? BHA, BHT. That's what I'm looking for. Is it in the bag? Is, food coloring in the bag? Is, wheat, corn, soy in the bag? These are all known allergens. They're going to cause allergies, whether you like it or not.
I got something I'd like your opinion on, and this is something I've had a conversation with my pops about. He's been breeding a long time, and it seems to me, and you correct me if I'm wrong, as this is my hypothesis, that where they've got away with this for so long is a lot of these breeds that have been around for a long time. You got 150-year-old breeds, of dog, and the blood has been bred, in line for so long, like German Shepherd blood and some of these hunting dogs and different things that they've been doing a long time. The blood is tight in a way that, all the puppies look the same, very consistent. And once you have a dog with that level of consistency in their pedigree, then they're not as susceptible to things that seem to affect designer dogs that are a little with a little less history. It seems to me like you get away. Of course, it's bad for them just the same, but it seems like symptomatically those older pedigrees seem to be more asymptomatic than some of these dogs that are 30, 40, 50 years old.
Yeah.
I wonder if it shows its ugly face a little more frequently in some of these newer breeds.
Yeah, you bring up a very good point, man. The way that you breed a dog, if you have a dog that's allergic, for example, and you breed it, right, and say the other dog is allergic, well, now you're propagating the allergies, right? And everything is coming up. Javier Noriega, I kind of like what he brought up. He says, has there been any studies on dogs that have been on kibble versus raw? Javier Noriega, the answer to that is absolutely. So let me show you, when I'm reading something like this, why it's important for you not to take the first thing, right? Unless you've researched it, that this is coming up. I went ahead and put it there. Study of dogs eating raw versus kibble, right? Studies on raw versus kibble. Dog food diets offer mixed results, with some indicating potential benefits for raw-fed dogs in gut health and inflammation, while others highlight potential risks like bacterial contamination and nutritional imbalances. Now, for me personally, again, you can take this and run with it however you want. For me, this is Google being manipulated. For me, this is where one study says this and the opposite study with monetary interests are trying to manipulate you or are trying to influence you. Because if you notice, while others highlight potential risks like bacterial contamination and nutritional imbalances, well, when you hear bacterial contamination, first thing that pops in my head is salmonella. And if I have children, immediately, I don't even want to read, I'm talking about regular Joe out in the street. They don't even want to read about raw at that point, because this already told you that. But this is only Google's first result, right? Like if you notice, it says studies. This is where things start getting vague, and it bothers me that they do that. Studies on raw. Okay, don't tell me studies. Tell me which studies. Up to now, everything I've brought up, I've shown you that Tufts University, which is a research university, either did a paper or did a study on the one thing I'm showing you. However, when you go out trying to research it and you happen to hit on that one thing that's going to cost people a lot of money, all of a sudden they get vague. Studies on raw and kit. No, don't give me studies. What studies? Why don't you tell me what studies they are so that I could turn around and find out who funded it? Because depending who funds it tells you whose agenda is being implied.
You know, you really said a mouthful there. That's what's wrong in this picture, man. That's something that I get so passionate about, because what's happening is some hardworking scientist, for lack of a better term, has done the research, put in the work, and uncovered something like this with this kind of substance. And so all these big companies have to do is put something in a search engine that counters it.
Yes.
So something's uncovered. Don't worry about that. It's no big deal. It's not going to cost us a penny, because when they look that up, they'll see both sides of it.
Exactly.
And so it clips the legs out from people that they don't know which way to go, because they don't know how to do their own research. It's just sad. It should be illegal to do that, but it is what it is.
Well, you know, they you know, here's the thing. They understand. Okay, they have psychologists that work for them. Consumer psychology.
100%.
Every time I drop a short talking about garlic, there's these fur moms, and I got nothing against them. And they will say verbatim what the Google search says as actual fact, and it isn't necessarily every time that way. You need to dig a little bit more and know who's behind the puppet, right? Because that's what these search engines are starting to become more and more through AI. I figure that in a matter of 5 to 10 years, you're not going to know if it's lying to you, telling you the truth. You're not going to know.
Yeah.
Sooner.
And if you don't believe me, all you have to do is go into AI and let it, don't tell it anything about yourself and ask it something. And then when you express where your stance is at on it, watch it change the narrative.
Yes.
To fit what you're looking for. Because it will go with the public narrative until you specify your stance, and then it'll say, well, we've also got blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And you know.
Yeah, this is why we have the platform we have, and we talk and conversate, and I'll do a live research, and I'll take my facts against anybody live. Like, if you're going to talk crap about QBN on your little platform some other place, make sure to invite me live, right? Or come here live. Either or, it doesn't matter. I'm going to tear you up, right? Yeah. Because this is what I do. This is what we love to do, right? So check this out. Let me go ahead and bring it up again. There we go. So later on down, however, it can't be vague all the time, Mike. It says improved gut health. Some studies suggest raw diets can lead to increased levels of beneficial bacteria in the gut and better intestinal markers of inflammation. But wait a minute. You just spoke to me 5 minutes ago about contamination, right? Oh, you gave me that first because you know about a good 70, 80% of the people are just going to read that first paragraph, and that's the end of that. They're not even going to want to look any further. They're not going to read
where it says improved gut health, reduced inflammation, better nutrition absorption, enhanced immune response. I mean,
yes. If your dogs,
here's a good indicator for you.
Yeah.
When I have my dogs on raw, they don't shed. When I have them on kibble, their hair falls out.
Exactly. Exactly. Look, that's what we're doing, and Nadie's hitting it on the head. Pull the curtain back and expose the real wizard, and that's what we're doing over here, bro. We're just pulling the curtain back. So let me just say this for those of you in the back. If your dog has allergies, first thing you're going to get from me, if you're not already doing so, feed raw. Why, Raul? Why? Well, Let's see. Improve gut health. Yeah, that helps with allergies, right? That helps to fight stuff off and not, accumulate toxicity and all that. Reduced inflammation. Well, what do you know? Yeast infection. What do you think yeast infection is? Yeast infection is when you eat too much carbohydrates. A dog has eaten too much carbohydrates. It has pretty much brought in the wrong flora to his intestines, right? To be able to break these carbohydrates down. It leads to inflammation internally and then externally. But look,
and the inflammation ties up the immune system where it can't take care of the little mundane tasks because it's constantly fighting the inflammation.
that's exactly what I'm saying. Look, Nuvet, that's the reason we do Nuvet and NuJoint DS along with raw. It's just to balance raw because you can't just feed chicken quarters all the time, guys. You can't. Because when a wolf kills a chicken out in the wild or a turkey or whatever, he's not just going to eat the meat and the bones. He's also going to eat the liver that provides the vitamins and minerals and enzymes and whatnot in order for them to be able to process the foods that they're eating. If you only feed chicken quarters long term, sooner or later, there's going to be a deficiency. But my point,
have the organ meat or the supplements to counter it.
My point is, if you're on the fence about feeding raw, just read that right there. Even Google can't hide this. Improved gut health, reduced inflammation, better nutrient absorption, and enhances immune response. Like, is there much more that you need for me to go into as far as why you need to be feeding raw and that's better than the best kibble that you have in the world? You got Origin. I don't care about Origin. I'll go buy me a bag of $4.50 for a 10-pound bag of chicken quarters at Walmart. Buy me $2 worth of carrots. Buy me $2 worth of green beans. We got Nuvet NuJoint on board. And there is nothing that 120-pound bag has that's going to be better than what I'm feeding. And it's costing me the whole thing, me feeding my dogs a day. Me and Mike were talking about it here a minute ago. It's costing me, Nuvet NuJoint DS costing me $1.67 a day because I'm buying two bottles of NuJoint DS and one bottle of Nuvet for a 90-day supply. That's costing me $1.67. That 10-pound bag of chicken quarters is costing me $4.50. So basically it's 45 cents for one chicken quarter. So let's go ahead.
You had the vegetables in the Nuvet. My wife and I did the math on it.
$3.
It was somewhere between $2.50 and $3 a day, depending on the deals and what you can get.
Yes.
What you buy in bulk. Now, if you feed kibble, it may cost you $1.50 a day. But we're talking about, it's really more like $2 a day. And then depending on the bag and if you're getting that much more benefit for an extra $1.50 a day for your dog. I mean, I'm telling you right now, besides shedding, one of the other main things I noticed, if I'm feeding kibble, I swear I could scoop up poop and weigh it and it would weigh the amount of the food that I fed them. When I'm feeding raw, I feed a big bowl mounded to the top with raw,
and you almost get nothing.
And my 100-pound dog poops like a cat.
Yeah.
One time a day. It's like he's absorbing it all. There's so much more that they're taking from it.
Well, here's the other part that a lot of people don't comprehend, and I want you to understand this right now. If you don't understand anything, because the two foods are completely different in the sense that kibble, quote unquote, on the surface has the supposed nutrients the bag says. We all know through the processing of it, through its exposure to oxygen and heat, because it gets transported and whatnot, everything gets degraded even more over time. Here's the other factor. Raw dog food, right, is wet. 70% of that chicken quarter is water.
That's right.
Whereas the same amount that you would feed in kibble is not water. In fact, it's the total opposite. It can't have water in order to have shelf life. So the way the dog is going to digest it, both things, is going to be totally different. One, he's going to be able to pull water, and water that's going to help him digest throughout the entire process.
That's right.
The other one is going to suck the water out of the dog.
That's exactly right.
Which is kibble. This is why you feed a scoop of kibble and the dog poops out 3 scoops of poop.
Yeah.
It's because that kibble gets inflated. Because it's just sucking in all the moisture that the dog.
When I feed my dogs raw, let's say I feed them all their portion of raw.
Right.
Then 30 minutes later, I put water out for everybody. They might lick their lips on it, but they don't drink it. They might not even touch it. If I feed kibble, within the hour, they will pester me. They're like, Dad, I'm really, really thirsty. You know, like I need water right now. And they'll drink as much as I put down is enough to make them sick. And it's because, like you said, it's drying their guts out. It's making them crave this water.
Yes.
It's night and day, man.
Well, let me just say this, right? Let me say this, and I knew Adam Fields was going to pop up any minute now. What's going on, Adam? My boy from Alabama. That's it. I love you, Blue. You know what's up, man.
You're my boy, Blue.
Yeah, that's right. You're my boy, Blue. That's right. Listen, Betsy Vargas comes up with an exceptional question, but I want to make a point here first, really quick. Think about this. You're at work 8, sometimes you might be at work 8 hours, but it takes you an hour to commute to work and maybe an hour back. I'm saying all this because it may be a 10-hour space of time from the moment you feed your dog in the morning and let them out or whatever to when you're going to see them again, right? Unless somehow you have water available for the dog, right? And the dog is, very well potty trained. What may be happening is you're leaving the dog in the crate without water for 10 hours. Think about this for a minute now, because you're feeding him or her kibble. This kibble is draining him or her of water, moisture that it needs in order to be able to digest. If you reduce the amount of moisture or water or lower the hydration in a dog for a long period of time, over the course of time, it may take a year or 2 or 3, you may be causing CKD, chronic kidney disease. Okay. I'm not saying I'm a veterinarian, but I am a nurse. I've worked in the ICU, and I also worked as a dialysis nurse. I know a lot about kidneys. Okay. And one of the things that you don't want is to have too much pressure or too little pressure getting blood supply getting to the kidney over time. That's how you can damage the kidney. This is why when people have high blood pressure, they damage kidneys. And when they have too much of low blood pressure over a long period of time, it could also damage the kidneys. Dogs are the same. Okay, dogs are the same. So just keep that in mind. If you're going to be away from your dog for 10 hours and you're feeding kibble, you're setting your dog up for possibly having kidney issues. I'm not trying to scare anybody, but, if I'm saying this because if you have the possibility of either making sure they got fresh water to drink or even making a doggy door for them to go out and come back in and make sure to have the water, that's going to be a lot better for you than just having them cooped up for 10 hours without any water. I just got to throw that out there. So Betsy Vargas, what's going on, Betsy? She says, hello, may I ask if I cook for my dog instead of raw? Is it okay? I'm a little bit afraid of salmonella. That was what my vet said. Right. Your vet is in line with what Big Pharma and everybody else wants to throw out there, the big salmonella scare. Here's the reality of it, okay? By the way, cooking is perfectly fine. I've also cooked for my dogs. You just need to make sure that the vegetables you steam, do not throw that water out. Make sure that water is given to them as well. That's where the vitamins are that got sweated out of the vegetables, right? So you don't want to throw that out. But here's the deal. Dogs are carnivores. There's a reason why they only have 7-8 feet worth of intestines, and you and I have pretty much 30 feet worth, right? There's the reason why the acid inside of their stomach could literally cut through a nail, destroy a nail within minutes, and ours can't, right? They are carnivores, right? And so think about it. If salmonella was something that was pervasive in their, because they're eating salmonella and they're passing it on, then their puppies would die of salmonella and they wouldn't reproduce and the species would just be extinct in no time. I'm not saying that that cannot happen if you have a dog that has an immune system issue or, you know, something happened that it happened. I'm not saying that it doesn't or that it can't. What I'm saying is it's not highly likely. It just isn't. Now, if you want to cook the food because they've scared you to a corner thinking that this is going to happen and you may have little ones running around, I can totally understand. But I just want to give you the insight as to how this whole thing works. And manipulation is definitely a tactic. Okay? You make no mistake about it.
Yeah, dogs and, you know, if you go back to the wolf, where all dogs come from, you can, it's not a stretch to understand that a wolf will find a half-eaten carcass that's a week old.
Oh yeah,
baking out in the sun for a week and pick the bones clean and go on about his business.
yeah.
You know, it's their immune system and their gut bacteria is on a whole nother level than ours. 100%.
You're right about that. Also, their taste buds. I don't know if you know this. Their nose is 100 times stronger than ours, right? But their taste buds are 100 times less strong than ours. This is why they can go into, you know, a decaying carcass and eat it. They're not tasting half of the stuff that's coming in, or at least not at. Yeah. This is why they're able.
Interesting.
Yeah. Adam Field says you can gently cook food if you're afraid of raw. Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, just know the more you cook it, the less bioavailable it becomes. However, I will say this: anyone cooking anything for a dog is going to be better than the best kibble in the world. Period. Hands down. There's no discussion.
I'm so glad you said that. That's where my mind was at.
Yeah.
And I hope people heard that. You know, whether you cook it or it's raw, it's going to be 10 times, 100 times better than the best kibble money can buy.
You know, Mike, I got hit up today because here's another myth and misconception that a lot of people think. They're like, well, I don't want to feed raw because it's so expensive. All right. Again, bro, sometimes we're so caught up with so many things going on. We just take a glance at red meat and the cost of red meat, and we can't feed that. You know, I'm not going to be feeding, you know, $3 a pound worth of meat. No. Chill. I've spoken on it till I've been blue in the face. I don't have an issue repeating it for you. My dogs, they eat chicken quarters. I buy 10-pound bags. Right now, they're on special in my Walmart for $4.50. 10 pounds worth of chicken quarters. Think about that for a minute, right? If you have 9 dogs, that's 90 cents for 2 big old chicken quarters, man. Like, I can't make it any easier for you. In order to balance it, all you need is some carrots, green beans. You know, you want to rotate it. So you have carrots, green beans, sweet potato. Then to balance it out so that you're sure that your dog is getting what it is they need to be getting, I'm putting it on the screen. Nuvet NuJoint DS. It's a multivitamin right here. It is made at human food grade. It's not cooked. It's cold pressed. Ordering code 513237, 13% off with auto ship. Can I make it any easier for you?
Yeah, just add in there that it's never had a recall one time ever.
It's not, it's never had a recall, right? It's 100% natural. Let me repeat that again for those of you in the back. It is 100% natural, right? All the ingredients in it. And when you do the math, think about it. 90 cents, 2 chicken quarters, right? On top of that, let's say carrots, green beans, sweet potato, right? You put it all together, it's going to come out to about roughly $1.40, right? Because you're only giving a certain portion per dog. Then Nuvet over here is going to cost you roughly $1.60 a day. It's going to be the green bottle and 2 of the blue bottles. And the reason I say that is because the blue bottle is weight-based. We're not trying to kill anybody's dog, right? And the green bottle does come in a 90-day supply. If your dog weighs more than 5 pounds, then automatically they're going to have 1 wafer. It comes with 90 wafers already there. So that's where you get your 3 months worth, right? You do the math, it's $3 a pop. And here I am feeding my girl Ali. That's what she ate today. She's 105 pounds. I checked all the boxes. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're looking at $90 total a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me challenge you. Your $100 you're spending on kibble. Say you have 1 dog, right? I'll challenge you. If you look up what I said, go to Walmart, look at their 10-pound bags of kibble. Now, I'm not stupid. There are going to be parts of the country that 10-pound bag of kibble, because where you live at is more expensive, there may be more inflation, whatever, may be a $10 bag of kibble. Still, $1 for a whole chicken quarter? I challenge it. In those areas where the bag is costing $10 for 10 pounds of chicken quarters, I'm sure kibble's costing a lot more than it's costing in my neck of the woods. When you do the math, it's a no-brainer.
It is, yeah.
It's a no-brainer. Dogs are looking better, feeling healthier, running around. You're only taking them to the vet once a year or once every 3 years to get that rabies shot, which we'll talk about in some other video. And, you're not feeding them tumors or cancers or none of that crap, right? I mean, I really can't make it any easier.
And look, if y'all decide to go raw, look at some of the videos. Go to QBN, go to the website, go to the app, and go to YouTube and look up the raw diet videos so you can go about it the right way. Raul uses and I also, when I feed raw, I use the same thing, the garlic and diatomaceous earth.
Yes.
As a dewormer for the dogs, the raw garlic and diatomaceous earth. Because y'all, you need to know that raw is better for your dog, but it does require a little more provisions because it is raw meat. You gotta worm your dogs more often.
Yeah,
it is a given, but just so people know, so they don't jump and buy all this and not know that that's part of it too. Go watch the videos. All the information is there. And really, that's the only extra step really that I can think of offhand that I would say is very important in feeding raw. But it's not a big deal, man. Matter of fact, when we do it here, when I get food out to prep, get chicken quarters out, get everything, before I even do that, the first thing I get out is the garlic. Crush it.
That's it.
And then I prep my meals, get all my dogs' bowls together. By that time, it's been 15 minutes or so. Take the crushed garlic, divvy it out according to weight to my different dogs, sprinkle a little diatomaceous earth, food grade diatomaceous earth on each one of the bowls. Done deal.
It's really that simple, man. I don't understand why. I think we have been, hoodwinked into thinking that it's more complicated than what it actually is. But guys, like Mike was saying, all you got to do is go to our QBN homepage, type in QBN Kennel. And when you get over here, there's a magnifying.
This is on YouTube.
Yeah, this is on YouTube. Just go to our magnifying glass here and type in. You could type in barf or you could type in raw. Look what happens when you do that. look, you're going to find shorts. Why we feed raw, feeding raw cooked kibble, nutrition and structure fixes, raw diet, best dog food reviews, barf diet feeding routine, dog skin issues and allergies, how to get rid of doggies. So, I mean, you're getting unlimited resources here. Top 5 raw foods that skyrocket your dog's health. Starting your dog on raw. But Raul, I have a puppy. Okay, well, look, while we're at it, in this video, I made 5 different recipes in our raw dog food diet, barf diet. But if you just got puppies, look, for those of you that don't know, puppies eating raw.
You're having carrots, ground beef, potatoes with a sprinkle of kibble, very sprinkled, lightly sprinkled, as you can see. And they're over here just ready to go. Yeah.
Look at baby Congo right there.
Yeah, that's from years ago. This is from years ago. I mean, you name it. We even have a raw diet for puppies. I'm trying to find it here because it kind of.
I think I've seen it up a few.
Yeah, look, homemade dog food. For those of you that want to cook, I'll show you guys how to cook it as well.
Go up a few from there, Raul. About 10 up. I thought I seen the puppy.
Yeah, it'll come right up, man. They're all up in there.
You can type in raw diet for puppies.
Yeah, let me just put in puppy here. Raw puppy. Come on. Well, this one's got the puppies in there. Here you go. There you go. Puppy nutrition for first-time owners. Check it out. I break it all down to you. I can't make it any easier for you guys. You guys just literally, all you got to do is find the video, click play, and watch. And pretty much I'm going to tell you how it is that we're doing it. Infamous says, I think we're at more risk of salmonella preparing the raw food than the dogs are eating raw food. You may very well be right on that, Infamous.
Well, here's something to counter that, Raul. Let's just do this live one time.
Okay.
Type in and search, have there been any kibble recalls for salmonella?
Oh, you're wrong. You're wrong. I already know where you're going with this. Tell you what, I'm going to bring up the screen. So you said we're going to do it live, right? So
right.
Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it live. All right. So
I hate to go there, but let's get to the bottom of it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You're bringing up an exceptionally good point, bro. So let me bring it up right now, and we're going live. All right, Mike, tell me, what do I type?
Type in, let's see, cases of salmonella in kibble, or recall cases.
Okay, salmonella. Hold on a second, because you kind of salmonella in kibble. Why don't we just do that? Because it'll automatically bring up the recalls. Yeah, look. Here we go. Look at the picture. We all know who that is, right? Victor Dog Food. Hold on. Right. Let me take this down because I don't want association over here.
Right.
Yeah, there has been cases of salmonella found in dry kibble pet food, leading to recalls and illnesses in both humans and animals. All right. So for those of you that have little kids, there's your answer. A recent outbreak linked to mid-American pet food brands resulted in illnesses in 7 people, with 6 being children 1 year of age or younger. The FDA and CDC investigated the outbreak and identified Victor brand High Pro Plus dry dog food as the source. The investigation also highlighted the importance of proper hygiene when handling pet food to prevent salmonella transmission. So
you're putting your dogs at risk with dry kibble as well. So
your kids.
That's
what that said.
If you're arguing against raw that you're worried about salmonella, just know that kibble can give it to the dogs and the kids as well.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I'm sorry. Let me go back to Frida. Here we go. I can't handle even thinking about my puppies being without water. I have to have something to drink. I know they have to have water, especially in these summer months. You could literally like grind your dog into kidney issues by having them 10 hours without water in this heat. I mean, literally you can do that. So And Sarathan says, true, I cook for them, and my dogs are a wild dove. They caught a wild dove and were fine, no tummy or poop issues. Okay. Adam Fields says 165 degrees Fahrenheit kills salmonella. So you can lightly cook and get rid of salmonella, is what he's trying to tell you.
Right.
Nadine says, if I can't eat it, my pups aren't eating it. Raw excluded unless they're oysters. Okay. All right. Carmelo and Chica, I use the crock pot a lot. I do too. And in fact, I'm going to be dropping a video this week. I'm going to make several other recipes that I make. Let me just tell you guys, cooking and feeding raw, there's nothing wrong with mixing them together or cooking them slightly or anything like that. Okay.
Just be careful, folks. If you're okay, since we're talking about raw and cooking food and all that, remember this: you can't cook bird bones without putting the dog at risk. So if you're feeding the dog raw, you can put the chicken bones in there. But if you're going to cook the food, you can't cook the bones.
No, you got to take the bones out because the bones will splinter when they're cooked. Good point, Mike.
I just want people to know that little clarification. So yeah, you can go ahead and cook the raw a little bit if you feel more comfortable, but extract the bones and then give them the bones raw, or don't give them at all, but don't cook the bones.
Or grind the bones. You could grind the bones. Okay?
Grind them and cook them.
Buy yourself a little grinder. Literally, it's going to cost you $40. You throw the bones and the chicken bones there. Grinding them is nothing.
And if you go, and this is not, you know, I'm labeling the brand because I know you've used it, and I've done a lot of research on it myself. It is what we're going to buy, these Weston grinders, and the reason why I think Weston takes the cake for us, and correct me if I'm wrong, is because they have a warranty on their product on their grinder that covers bird bones. So if you're grinding up chicken and turkey bones,
no, it will never breaking chicken bones, bro.
Right. What I'm saying is their warranty covers.
Yes.
If you're grinding bird bones and something happens, which it won't, but if it does, they'll replace it.
Anika Shembari is saying, what about fish? Well, Anika, let me tell you something about fish. First off, I make sure the times that I have been feeding fish to my dogs. Now, there's various ways that fish come. So let me just say, let me explain each one. If I catch a fish and I want to feed it for my dogs, first thing I'm going to do is clean it. Okay. Make sure scales are off, the insides are out, all that good stuff. Then I'm going to throw it in the freezer. Right. And then that's when I'm going to feed it to the dogs when it's nice and frozen. Right. So
tell them why. Yeah.
It's so the little bones, well, you're thinking about the parasites.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. Well, if you want to kill the parasites, which you can leave it in the freezer for 21 days, make it 22 to be on the safe side. And that will destroy not just the parasite, but also the eggs, the great majority of them. As we know, some parasites are microscopic and they can withstand, freezing, even hot temperatures, right? But 22 days, then you feed it to the dog. Well, some fish have these tiny little bones that are sharp and whatnot. Well, when the fish is frozen, the dogs can literally break off pieces and swallow it without those little tiny bones jabbing into anything. Okay, that's how I did it whenever I went out and fished and brought a fish home. Now, if you're buying it from the store, obviously I buy it boneless just to be on the safe side, right? I buy it boneless. If I was going to buy it whole, because I know sometimes they do sell whole herring, make sure it's frozen. It's really that simple. Sardines. For those of you that have smaller dogs, you do have to be careful because sardines in a can, by the way, I make sure they come with just water and not oil, may have, pieces of backbone, pieces of bones in there. And a smaller dog could probably have a hard time with that. So I would suggest if you're going to feed sardines out of a can that you mush it and you go through it and make sure that there's no bones in there. Now, my bigger dogs, I just open the can and throw it in there, and they have it. It's really
You
that.
could also put something with fine bones in it, like fish, in a pressure cooker if you had one, and it will make the bones soft. They won't have any integrity then.
Or grinding.
Yeah.
Grinding is another very good way of dealing with the whole thing. Carmelo and Chica says, I use ground turkey and ground beef and the leanest. Green beans, peas, carrots, sweet potato, and sardines, brown rice, coconut oil, turmeric, and of course, Nuvet Plus and Joint and NuJoint DS. Carmelo and Chica, let me ask you this. Yeah, let me ask you this, because this is precisely how I work it, with the exception of rather than using ground turkey, where I'm using full-blown chicken quarters. But I ask you, please respond. How is your dog's health? How are they doing health-wise? Let us know, please. Okay. I also feed my pack fresh, free-range eggs from farm down the road. Okay. All right, good deal. Regina Williams, I'm new to your channel. Can you please tell me what you think about a salmon diet? Miss Regina, thank you for hitting us up and joining us. A salmon diet. I would think, first of all, if you're coming at me with a salmon diet for your dog's probably dealing with allergies and that sort of stuff. I would make sure that the salmon is cooked. Otherwise, raw salmon has they have a particular parasite that can kill your dog in a matter of, I think, 96 hours or even less than that.
Salmon exclusively has that.
Yes, I would be very, very careful with that. In fact, I would not want to be feeding a particular type of fish long term. I would want to rotate. So if you're going to be feeding salmon today, tomorrow I would be wanting to feed some sort of white meat fish, maybe halibut or something like that. And be, you know what I'm saying, shuffling it around. You don't want to just stick with tuna because mercury could become a problem. You don't just want to stick with salmon because unless it's wild caught, that's another thing. You want to make sure you're not buying salmon from, say, like a farm or something, because again, because of money and greed, they're going to be feeding these fish the lowest grade, cheapest thing that they can, so they can maximize their profit. So
to add to that too, Raul, she didn't really specify, but if she just said a salmon diet, I hope you know that you'd have to give your dog more than just a meat source like that. If you're feeding meat, whether it be cooked or raw, just the meat itself every day is not enough. You need the vegetation in there.
Yes. Roughage.
Yeah.
You need other sources. There are some things that the meat just can't provide. Enzymes that just the meat can't provide. And then the other problem you have is if you were to do the barf diet, it will require for you to feed some sort of liver. I'm against liver because of the amount of stuff that they're shooting into cows and chickens. That's why we come back to Nuvet NuJoint DS. This is the liver that I'm feeding my dogs, right? Not just to give me joint support, but I know for a fact it hasn't been recalled. It's 100% natural. It's cold pressed. It's made at human food grade level. Our ordering code 513237, 13% off with auto ship. I already told you, buy yourself a green bottle and 2 blue bottles because they're weight based. It's going to cover you for 90 days. It's going to run you roughly $1.60 a day. But trust you me, in the long run, and listen to these people that are typing in how well their dogs are doing based on Nuvet NuJoint DS as part of their diets.
Yeah.
Let's see.
For those of y'all that didn't understand what he was saying, you gotta have the roughage. You gotta have the balance. You can't just have the meat. And as far as the liver is the function of the liver is to filter what goes through the body, right? So the chicken liver is what's getting all the crap that we all know that they're putting in chickens. And so when they're putting that stuff in there, it's getting caught up in the liver, and then you go buy a tub of chicken livers. Oh, because livers are good for my dog because, you know, it's this organ meat or whatever. But you have to know with all the toxins that they put in all of the chicken we buy, that
Yep.
if there's anything that's got an abundance of that, any part of the chicken, it's going to be the liver. And so when you're feeding your dogs these chicken livers, it's really dangerous. It's really a concentrated amount of the toxins that goes in these chickens. So it's much safer just to do a supplement on that.
I couldn't agree with you more. Anthony Ortiz says, can you make a video on the processing of studying a dog? I already did, my friend. Again, all you need. Yeah, I did several. All you got to do, again, is go to QB and Kennel, YouTube, right? You're going to search QB and Kennel up here. Type in studying on your magnifying glass, and there you go. All right. How you going to be studying your dog, right? How much money you're going to be making. I know you're asking how many times do you pull the dog before you collect? I believe that's your question. Pull them before you collect. I have it to the point where literally my dogs are collected in less than a minute. Literally, once you know that there are 3 things that the dog's about to put out, right? Once you know what you're after and you know the signs, just make sure to watch that video. It's going to let you know, man. Frida Streva says, you can get lost in Raul's library. You find things you never knew but thought you knew. Thank you for that. Flo Rican, chicken quarters or chicken backs is what I give. It doesn't matter any part of the chicken. I give chicken feet. And those of you that are feeding kibble, right? And on your kibble, it says chicken byproducts. You might not know this, but you're feeding beaks, feathers, and even nails. Yeah. Yeah. You didn't even know it. Good Brothers Kennel says, we learned how to feed raw right here watching you and no BS. Our dogs look good, man. Better than they did on kibble. It's really night and day, bro. I wish people would realize how effective it is to feed raw and to do it in a way where, again, I had a good friend of mine. I don't want to say his name, but I'll let him comment when he watches this video. He always catches us on the replay. He hit me up today and he's like, bro, I'm saving like half of what I was spending doing it like you're doing it with the chicken quarters. I said, I know, bro. I mean, I'm not just talking the talk, bro. I'm telling you what I'm doing, and it's working. So
it's really not expensive, y'all.
No,
it's not. It's a little more prep time, but that's it.
Yeah. Infamous says, my biggest issue with the search bar is I end up watching other videos instead of the one I'm looking for. That's hilarious. Insuranta says, I mostly use salmon, mackerel, swai plus sardines and Nuvet. Okay. But you got to make sure you got the roughage in there. If the dog doesn't have fiber, you got to remember these dogs are carnivores. They come from wolves. When a wolf catches a rabbit, he eats everything, including the stomach and gut contents. What was that rabbit eating? That rabbit was eating the roughage that wolf is going to need. These dogs, they're domesticated, but they still need some of that roughage, right? You got to make sure to give it to them. Otherwise, you may end up with yeast infections and all these other things because of inflammation. Processed food is bad for us and our dogs. So let me ask you guys this. Let me know if you think what I'm about to say is true or not. Would you equate kibble dog food or even wet dog food to, say, fast food for humans? Let me know in the comments. Carmel and Chica, Kibby and Kennel is definitely a blessing. Nothing but love. That's what we're all about. Insurata says, I rotate different fish and sometimes beef or pork. I always cook the pork. Yes. Also, I have in the past fed raw boar that I had some hunters catch. And I was deworming twice a month rather than only one time. Rican, check out Dr. Billinghurst, the creator of the Barf Diet, has a whole seminar on raw. Okay. Yeah. People complicate it. Yeah, they really do, man. It's more complicated than what it really is. Facts, dog kibble is more dangerous for salmonella. Yeah. When was the last time you heard a raw dog feeder getting salmonella? Not saying it hasn't happened. I'm not saying that. But think about it. How the hell do you get salmonella contamination on kibble whose moisture you got rid of.
Now, here's something I want to say, and I won't take a shot because we don't get down like that here. I won't take a shot at anybody. I'm not a hater. I'm not getting in anybody's lane trying to knock anybody's hustle. However, just my personal recommendation, if you're going to feed raw, do it at home. Get the supplies yourself. I'm not saying you can't buy raw from a distributor and be okay, but you don't know how long ago they cooked it. You don't know if they've got 200 portions worth on the kitchen table and they got this stuff unthawed for 8 hours while they put all this together and then they freeze it and ship it. And so there's a lot of risk factors that you can't control. And since companies don't really do it a lot unless it costs a lot of money, like some of these things like Farmer's Dog and stuff, I mean, it's got great ingredients and stuff, but it is hard to afford, especially if you've got big dogs in a big yard. But there are people that ship raw, and if you got somebody local and you trust them, they got a good reputation, great. But I would recommend doing it yourself.
Go get it yourself.
Yeah.
I do it myself. I got quite a few dogs. I've always done it myself, man, for that very reason. Anything you buy that has been packaged for you, even if it's whole food, there are decisions being made in the background that you have no control over. Jerry O Bullies Inc. says, hey, Raul, I have my puppy, a puppy with chicken, and he got the runs bad. I guess you were feeding raw. Currently feeding pumpkin and rice. Okay, pumpkin, definitely you want to feed that. You may want to add a tiny bit of coconut oil. You should have prepared that puppy's gut before you fed raw. You should have done the transition. Typically, I don't know if you did or didn't. I'm guessing. Typically, if you just go from kibble to raw, that's how you're going to get the runs, man. I'm going to go through these comments here real quick. Infamous, or it's not as good as none, but you can use the cooked bones for bone broth. There you go. That you can definitely do that. Sup, y'all? You got it. Florican, my puppies are on raw at about 4 to 5 weeks old. Yeah, my puppies go to raw on 24 days. On day 24, that's when they're coming off of mom. You're going on mush. And guess what? There's going to be some ground whatever. There's going to be ground chicken quarters in there with the skin, the cartilage, the bone. Everything's going to be grounded up.
They can go straight from the tit to the raw, as long as you don't give them any bones until they get their adult teeth, unless they're ground up.
Yeah, because they can't break it. That's all. Infamous says it's not as good as bone, but you can use the cooked bones for bone broth. You got it. Adam feels the biggest thing is you can buy replacement parts for the Weston. Look at that. I didn't even know that. I'm going to tell you why.
Adam and I have talked about it.
I bought the Weston. I'm the one that made the video of it. That Weston has been with me now going on 5 years. That thing is like a tank, bro. Like there's nothing wrong with it. It's as if though like I bought it yesterday. George Barron says, does raw cause loose or soft stool? George Barron, I'm sure you just heard my comment. You have to prepare the puppy for what's coming. The problem you have when you're feeding kibble is a whole different way of digesting than when you're feeding raw. So you got to prepare the gut, something like kefir, getting the good gut bacteria in there. And then taking out 10% of what you're feeding in kibble and adding 10% of raw is how you slowly transition the dog. Today you do 10%, tomorrow you do 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, so on. So yeah.
And you trade out the portions between an all kibble meal and then 10% raw, 20 until it's all raw, no kibble. And
correct.
Then, and also he said the kefir. Some people say kefir. Either way, that is a great probiotic, prebiotic product. It's good for people too. It's been around since the Bible days. It's been around a long time,
forever.
But also, I will say sauerkraut, and if you get it from the store, you can get it on the shelf or you can get it in the refrigerator section. It has a better culture of live enzymes out of the refrigerator. And also we use sour cream.
Yeah. And you could also mix it. Grab that sour cream, let it come down in temperature for a good 3, 4, 5 hours. Let it out there. Let it promulgate a little bit. It's not going to go bad on you. Okay, and then grab a scoop or two and throw it in the sauerkraut. Close it up in there and come back and watch what's going to happen.
You wouldn't think dogs love sauerkraut. They do.
They do.
Love it. Yeah, they love it.
They do. Flo Rican brings up a good point. Too much organs can cause loose stools. This is true. This is why you need to follow the BARF diet. BARF diet has percentage of no more than 10% of offal. And of that, I always recommend no more than 5% of liver. Liver is pretty strong in the system because that's where the animal stores, most of its fat soluble vitamins and all sorts of minerals, sugars, and whatnot. So, Raúl Martínez, aprendo mucho contigo. Raúl, saludo desde Ciudad México. Tocayo, Raúl Martínez. Tocayo in Spanish means when you both have the same name, you're tocayos, which makes you name brothers, right? That's what it basically is. Infamous says, I read somewhere that normally fish on the lower part of the food chain is generally the safest. Me personally, I would not feed a fish that lives longer than, say, a year to a dog. For example, a shark, right? Shark meat would not be something I would feed to my dogs, right? Don't ask me why now. We're on this subject here. We'll be here forever for me explaining that. Regina says, thank you so much for the information. This is very appreciated. I have an 11-year-old Dachshund who is in the last 2 years has developed allergies. I have tried everything. Ms. Regina, I'm going to give you a couple of recommendations. First recommendation, make sure to go down to the description below and become a member of this channel for as little as $5 a month. And we could continue having these conversations, okay? I'm answering to members and non-members, but when the time is short, I will only answer members, okay? Secondly, this right here, Nuvet NuJoint DS, I strongly recommend it for your dog at their age. Some sort of supplementation, okay? They're really going to need it. Kibble's just not going to provide it. And it also balances, if you're feeding your dog raw, it's going to balance everything out, right? You can't just, let me give you an example. If you were to just feed your dog steak every day, sooner or later, you're going to cause a deficiency, okay? Because phosphorus and calcium they work together, but when you have too much of one, it depletes the other, right? And so meat is going to bring in the phosphorus, but there's no bone, there's no calcium, right? But Nuvet NuJoint DS, if you look over here, it's got it already set up for you. Let me zoom in. All right. Well, there you go. Look, it's got the phosphorus, potassium, zinc, calcium, selenium, vitamin A, E, C. It has everything already set up for you. And the blue bottle's NuJoint DS. DS is for double strength. It is going to help your dog with joint issues. I'm pretty sure your dog being 11 by now, just naturally, they're going to develop arthritis and things like that. And in order for them not to suffer, I strongly recommend this. It's going to make a world of difference for you. All right. Let me go here, Nadine. What about mackerel? I use that sometimes. Mackerel's good. Mackerel's good. Lentils, no bueno. Lentils are not good for dogs. I'm glad you brought
for people, just not for dogs.
Not for dogs. I'm glad you brought this up, Anika, because I'm thinking about bringing this up in a future video. Why beans are not a good option for dogs. All I'm going to say is, remember, they are carnivores. It has been shown that beans in the long run can actually lead dogs to have heart murmurs. They're not made for that. They're carnivores.
You said it right there. The quick version that ties all those questions together, from the shark to the beans to why they eat a little bit of roughage because it's in the rabbit's belly. The whole thing ties together because they're not made for it. If a dog comes from a wolf, well, what a wolf might eat and anything that it would come across in the woods or what it does, it's designed to be able to digest that.
Yes.
If it's something that's like, a wolf would not eat a shark. So
it's not a swimming. It's not a swimming carnivore. It's a four-legged
in the same
carnivore.
way, a dog would not go to a bean field and eat. I mean, a wolf wouldn't eat beans.
Yeah, but turn over your bag of kibble, and you're going to find lentils. Green peas. Now, guys, I know you're probably looking at me and saying, well, you said members mark, salmon and sweet potato, and it's got green peas in there. It sure does. I also said I feed no more than 10% to my dogs worth of kibble a day, period.
Yeah.
You're not touching that, right? It's just there for just added calories and whatever, but that's it. Infamous says growing your own vegetables and stuff is pretty easy, sustainable, and can help lower the cost of raw. Infamous, I'm glad you're saying that. I don't know if you've been noticing more and more on the shorts I'm dropping. I am developing more and more a garden. Pretty soon, we're going to have a full-blown greenhouse. And the reason I'm doing this is because I also want to show you guys how it can become easily sustainable, right? I had some people tell me I can't feed raw because in my neck of the woods, sweet potato is costing I don't know how much per pound. Well, sweet potato is one of them things you could be growing in your own garden. You don't need much space, and it'll yield you more than enough than what you need.
In a 5-gallon bucket if you know how to do it.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, and we're headed in that direction. D. Taylor says you can get rid of pain with exercise, acupuncture, massage, and the use of certain herbs, but sometimes that Tylenol has that you can get with those things. The same goes for Nuvet and your dog. I see what you're saying, D. Taylor. Basically, what he's saying is sometimes you need something that's more powerful, and that you're able to get that from Nuvet. So I appreciate you saying that, man. You're not wrong on the fast food. So she agrees. Let me see. Kyle says, have to do with the math. There's videos on this percentage. I'm not sure.
No, he's talking about the percentage of like the barf diet.
Oh, the barf diet. Yeah. I have to do. Yeah. Kibble is more like boxed food, says Adam Fields. Infamous. Actually, that makes sense. Kibble is fast food for dogs. Yeah, it sure is. D. Taylor, I fed raw pork twice. If you want people to leave your house that won't leave, that's the trick. Farts are inhumane. Yeah, bro. Yeah, and our breed, American Bullies, they're known for letting it out, man. Especially on a rainy day when you got to raise all the windows and you got the AC running. Billy Watton says, unless people come across this platform or another that shares this info, people been brainwashed and programmed to follow the toot of the Pied Piper. This is just people in general. It's just humanity. The problem we have with humanity, and we spoke about it last week when we were talking about coming into breeding, and that is if you come in here with the survivalist mentality, you're just not going to make it. It's not going to happen. Okay. You have so much competition and you have predators that are just lurking, waiting for you to arrive with that survivor mentality. And unfortunately, that survivor mentality also is used for how you're going to feed dogs. Oh, I'll just get that $20, 60 pound of kibble over there and it's going to work. No, it's not going to work. You're going to cause allergies on your dogs. When you take pictures, people are going to see it. They're not going to want to buy your puppies if you have puppies, because if you feed that stuff enough to your females and they get inflammation everywhere, guess what? They're going to get inflammation in the uterus too, which may end up getting pyometria, and you might end up ruining the whole thing because you were saving a couple of bucks in what you were feeding. You see how that whole thing plays out?
It's a vicious cycle, man.
It sure is, man. That's why you can't come into breeding thinking I'm gonna put greed as my number one priority. Yeah, you got something else coming at you, bro. You don't even know it, man. It's like feeding your pups McDonald's every day. If people are going to keep feeding kibble, at least use Nuvet NuJoint DS. That's what I'm saying, bro. If you're going to keep feeding kibble, because I do understand some people may be living in the penthouse in a high-rise apartment and all you do is work and you just can't feed something else, at least feed your dog Nuvet NuJoint DS. You got it, Jerry O. Bullies Inc. Of course, I'm going to answer you. You're a member. Yep, you got it. Infamous says, I swear every time I watch Raul's live, I want to buy something. Got me looking at grinders now. Infamous is killing me. This went from wet food and kibble live to a full on-rod endorsement. Hey, I get asked all the time, what's the best thing to feed my dogs? What do you think my answer is going to be? Every single time.
Yeah.
It's really that simple. Thank you guys. Love your info and knowledge. Nothing but love. Adam Fields ordering code. But no, you killed it, Adam Fields. It's not. It's 513237. Adam Fields over here playing games with you. 513237. Thanks for the correction there, Kyle. Yeah, Adam Fields over here cracking up. Julius Hall says, so it's the Nuvet Plus for East West, not the DS? No. It's the Nuvet Plus for the vitamins and minerals you need to set the table. And it's the NuJoint DS double strength. It is weight-based, so you're going to have to follow what how much your dog weighs and how much you're going to be feeding. And it's both of them together for the win. All right? That's how it works, my friend. I've done the math. 2 bottles of the blue, 1 bottle of the green for 90 days is going to come out to about $1.60 a day. Get rid of the East-West, right? Nobody wants a beautiful dog walking around like Charlie Chaplin. But on top of that, make sure you improve your dog's immunity. Make sure you improve your dog's overall health, coat, everything. Give your dog longevity, right? It's 100% natural, never been recalled. It's cold pressed and made at human food grade. It's really that simple. Carmelo and Chica TV, they're gifting 1 QBN Kennel membership. Nothing but love. Hold on a second. We got to hear the sound.
Pues claro que sí, cabrón.
It's claro que sí. You got it, Carmelo and Chica. Thank you for gifting it. Nothing but love. Shade Tree says that fennel, it helps flatulence. All right. If you didn't know it, did you know that, Mike? The plant fennel.
No, I didn't.
It helps with farts, man.
I had no idea.
Well, I'm gonna send you a box of fennel over there, bro, so your dogs don't stink up your house after eating some pork, man.
Hey, if it works, it'd be worth it.
Hey, you might have to take some yourself.
I might.
I know Kyle eats fennel all the time, along with his Nuvet. Look. Hey, man, that's all I got for tonight, man. You got anything else, Mike, you want to throw at him?
No, man. I really enjoyed tonight. This is a topic I'm very passionate about. I love deep diving on the diet and supplementation, nutrition of these dogs. I think it's one of the core values that people need to understand. Something I'm very passionate about. So I really enjoyed tonight. I appreciate it, Ro.
All right, man. It's good. Hey,
I would just say the biggest thing when you're doing raw, the most important thing is washing everything, washing the bowls after they eat. Don't feed it in the same bowl. If you're worried about these things, I've never had an issue in all these years ever, but you got to have good, clean practices while you're doing raw. That'll be fine, man.
Absolutely, man. You can't be. Look, every time you feed your dog, when you feed raw, you must have a cleaning process for their bowls. Do not just leave the bowl there and feed again.
Yes.
There's bacteria there, a bunch of stuff that could be growing and could end up hurting your dog in the long run.
Yeah, you want to talk about bacteria. Like, I've been feeding my dogs chicken for years and never had an issue. But if you don't wash their bowl and you keep using the same bowl, that's when you're going to get the issues. And
Absolutely.
I think that's where it comes in, because their stomachs are 100 times more acidic than ours, and they can digest stuff like that. But you can't let it sit there for, a day or two without washing it.
Hey, Hollywood, you're on, man. Start us off.
It's your boy Hollywood Holland, your boy in the back of the queue. We're catching you on the next one.
Michael Higginson.
Money Mike, man. Michael Higginson with Creek Bank Kennel out of Arkansas, man. Your co-host with the most. I just wanted to make an announcement, man. Y'all check out. We've got an upcoming breeding. We got a big pregnant mama here, man. Y'all go to Creek Bank Kennel and check it out.
Oh,
Catching
man.
y'all on the next one.
My bad, Mike. I totally forgot. Hey, guys, I have an announcement. We got blood over here. We got blood on this girlie right here. Our girl, Ali. we're gonna be running. Well, y'all already know we're gonna be running Hector into her. And Money Mike has a breeding in-house. Mike, tell them a little bit more about it, man. I apologize. I didn't even bring it up.
That's fine. So we've got this beautiful girl, Remy. She's a beautiful Isabella color, and she's special to us because I inherited her from the late Trayvon Mobley Sr. So she's dear to my heart.
Yes.
Best temperament I've ever seen. All my dogs have a great temperament, but she's got the best one out of all of them. She is truly a doll. Sweet, sweet dog. She's the exact same color as my boy Pressure. Y'all know Pressure from QBN.
That's it.
He's just a few points away from Champ. He's my boy. That's him right there. Him and Remy are the exact same color. She is as big as a house right now and due in about a week or so. And we made a late announcement, wanted to make sure she was pregnant, but now she can't even climb on the couch. So I guess we've held it as long as we can.
Well, man, I'm glad you brought it up. I'm sure a lot of people are going to see this and hear about it. Tell you what, man, we're going to do a crazy little, I mean, I know we did our outros. I'm going to go ahead and do mine, but Kyle likes to dance every time we put something on. So we're going to do it a little different tonight, man.
I wanted to add, I forgot. My wife reminded me, you know, this was something that Trayvon had planned before I even had my hand on it. You know, Remy and Pressure had met back in 2023. We were showing them both and had both of them at the show. And he acted different about her than he ever had a female. He was just in love with her. And we started talking and joking about it then. And so this is something that he really wanted, and we're proud to be a part of. Just wanted to.
I'm glad you did, man. I'm glad you threw it out there. But listen, hey, we do this every Monday at 8 p.m. We've been doing it now for what, 5 years? Sometimes it was Sunday. Now it's Monday. We're also doing it on Friday, 8 p.m. Listen, we're going to do a little different today. Kyle, you got your dancing shoes?
Here we go. Kill the whistle.
Uh-oh.
Straight dog talk and the song jump on.
Uh-oh. Not the butter maker.
We are community, so don't hate.
Hey, number love, guys. We're catching you on the next one.